What is going on, everybody? This your boy Sean, aka Puff Comics 83, and we are back. Me and Varangian Vigilante, my co-host, my partner. We do this every Friday. How are you doing, sir?
I come in peace.
And you'll go out in pieces.
Fuck you, spaceman. I'm doing well. Has been a busy week, but hey, it's the weekend, and looking forward. It was so much fun rewatching Come in
Yes.
Peace, or like the international release was Dark Angels, but they didn't get the right for the name in the US because there were already two films called like that.
Way back from like the 20s and the 30s.
Yeah. But I haven't watched this movie in such a long time.
Me too.
And I do have to say, watching this this movie, I would say, is the epiphany of what you wanted to pick up in a videotape back in the day, when you were just looking at covers and who is in it. It's just 88 minutes of pure actions. When somebody asked the director, how many explosions do you want? Yes.
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 How many roundhouse kicks do you want Dolph Lundgren to throw?
Yes. And the fantastic thing about it is this is not a studio produced movie. This was independent work, and I think it shows because there's so much passion and love behind it. Because this is fun. There are no studio shenanigans behind it. This is just people having the time of their life. I think even Matthias Hughes said that this was the best set he's ever been. That dude still is fucking six-packed. That dude is like lean and mean, and of course he's also a fellow Conan alumni from the TV series, as you just rewatched it, the one with Ralph Möller. That Matthias Hughes is like the trader in one of the episodes. And this is his movie. This is the movie he's looking back on. He's the most proud of, and you can totally tell because as the villain, like this alien drug lord, wonderful plot. Basically, he doesn't say more than 2 lines in the whole movie, and especially like in the final fight with Dolph Lundgren, he does such a great job, with his mimic, telling like his emotions, how he feels. I do believe if this movie came out a few years prior, Matthias Hughes would be a better star villain than he actually became. I mean, I think he had a nice career, but I think if this movie wouldn't have come out 1990, but a few like in the 80s, he would have been. Also, of course, shout out to El Leon. He also got his payday for this movie.
I was just about to say, you know this movie is good when we get a small appearance from the greatest stuntman and the greatest henchman of all time, Al Leon. When you see Al Leon, I'm like, hey, this movie is certified.
Exactly. So I think he could have also more become somebody like El Leon, who's basically in every movie. I mean, he's in fantastic movies, and he also, I think, told in an interview once that when Bolo Young kicked him in a movie, you're like, fuck.
And it's like I said, speaking of Al Leon, eventually we gotta talk Rapid Fire with Brandon.
Yes, absolutely.
Because that movie has some great scenes, and the fight he had with Al Leon in that film, top tier.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a movie that's gonna get a new edition again soon.
I hope so.
Right at the moment, it's way too overpriced. The editions that are out there, but I'm gonna keep my eyes out.
Same with Showdown in Little Tokyo with Dolph Lundgren and Brandon Lee.
It's crazy. Those movies should never be out of print.
They should have been put on 4K Blu-ray for multiple times. The amount of times we got Terminator and Aliens and stuff on Blu-ray, and hey, give me some Dolph Lundgren movies.
Yeah, that's the thing. Every time they release it, it gets worse. Like every time it's like the remaster is every time fucking Cameron is like, let's fuck this up with new technology.
It's like George Lucas and Star Wars. Like, let make changes and take away from the originality of the original. So I was like, come on.
Yeah, I do think that the new Terminator 4K is not that bad as the other stuff, but I watched it and it felt wrong. Like, I still think that there is. I still think that the early DVD release of the Terminator is still the best way to watch it.
I still occasionally bust out the 2-disc one from the 90s, the Fox, the double disc one.
Actually, the laser disc ones are when you go back to the laser disc ones, I think you have the best way to watch it. But sadly, laser disc was never really a thing here. So like, if anybody like has the chance to watch Terminator like on the laser disc, then it's basically you're good.
Yeah, this film, like right from the get, the first 10-15 minutes, you're already hooked.
Yeah, and you know what about this movie? This movie completely is like totally in for my law of a good Predator movie. It's you have a movie that would be a fantastic crime story by itself, and then you just put a fucking alien madness into it. And like I said, this movie could have been a Predator movie. Like, and it totally goes by the rule of how you do a good one, because you have like a movie that already has like interesting characters. Then basically you have somebody to root for because his partner was killed, like going undercover.
But a group called the White Boys. A black man killed by the White Boys.
Well, the good old boys was already taken.
but the fact that the group's name was White Boys, it's like, really? What's like, a white guy dressed up in suit?
Every time I hear something like this, like in my head, I immediately go, basically, that was just a placeholder and they didn't come up with anything better, so they just went with the placeholder name.
It's just funny hearing that and seeing that. It was like, well, yeah, they took all the villains.
Hey, Gary.
What's up, Gary?
Survive work.
Hey, matter of fact, great live stream with Jim Dub. Sub, y'all did.
Yeah, that was
awesome. That was awesome. You know, Hugh, he could have played the physical embodiment of Vigo the Carpathian. Just the way he looked in this film.
Well,
Vigo look.
Well, Vigo was also German, so I think both are from Northern. So
yeah,
the genetics are very close. I think both are like from northern Germany or something.
So like, if he was in Ghostbusters the year before, he would have been just as good as the person who was the body of Vigo.
Yeah, they could have casted him for like a prequel of Vigo, like that would have been awesome.
But yeah, this movie it hit all the notes when it comes to those 90s action films. You know, you got the action, you got the characters, you got, you know, sci-fi with the aliens, you know, you got crooks on both sides, the law and the villains, and then of course you got a topless bar, because you gotta throw those in there
naturally,
especially when the characters say, "I need to think." Those are the topless bar. This is where I get my think on.
Yeah, and once again, this movie tells its fucking story in under 90 minutes.
No pacing issues whatsoever.
Exactly. This is, you know, a pizza and a soft drink in the 90s was all you needed to start your fucking weekend.
Yep. And what? Gary, you gotta watch this.
Time to watch it. You will love it.
It's on YouTube for free. You can watch it on YouTube.
This is just fun. I mean, it's like by itself. I have never ever seen a Battle of Flankren movie.
Even when you said that you didn't like Universal Soldier,
I know, but it's
still a fun film.
But it's like it's like basically Universal Soldier gets like props from Van Damme. Like, but it's just that Emmerich is a bad director. Like,
even a bad director
yeah,
can't ruin the greatness of Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren.
But it's like really impossible to do like an Dolph Lundgren movie that you can't watch. You know, even his recent stuff, there's a lot of like direct to DVD stuff, like Shark Lake. Like Shark Lake is a fun movie.
And it's always like when you watch this film, not only is it perfect for the time period, but it's just creativity. Like an alien from outer space come down and say, we need this drugs because it's rare on there. But the way they get it, it's just so out there. There's like, you never would have thought that this is how they develop their drug.
I actually really like the plot, and it makes a lot of sense in many ways, especially since basically the menace starts like very contained, but then it's like a global menace, because if it carries home, every fucking drug dealer in the universe will come with your drugs, and basically,
which is like I want him to succeed so we can get this invasion. But yeah, it's like you see this story, and it's like, it's weird, but at the same way, it's unique. It's original.
And this is why it's not a studio movie. You can totally tell it's not a studio movie.
No studio interference whatsoever, and they're able to craft a story that have intriguing elements to it. You know, and the brutality of how he gets the drug.
Yeah,
it's like, well, damn, I wouldn't want to fuck with this guy if he's, trying to get. He takes the heroin from the drug dealers, then he uses it to inject into the human. And then after he injects it into them, he fucking takes a pointy stick, jam it in their head, and sucks out the endorphins from their brain to create the drug. And I'm like, damn, man.
Whoever came,
Go ahead.
Whoever came up with this had probably a lot of the white thing himself.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug, man.
That's why they're called the white boys.
Yes. That's why they call the white boys. They love dealing in the cold.
Because it snows even in summer.
But yeah, the concept is ridiculous, but at the same time, it's crazy and it's brutal. The way, like when they first showed him jam the needle in the guy's head, they didn't show it. But then the next couple kills, they went ahead and said, even when he did it to the girl, the mechanic, the female mechanic. I was like, damn, they are not holding back. And that was the thing with these films back then. Is like they told their story however they saw fit. There was no political correctness or incorrectness. Not they told it how they wanted to tell it.
It just felt genuine. Like it's for such a bonkers plot. It's actually very coherent. And also, what we have to mention, it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah, it takes place during Christmas. We see Santa Claus in the film.
Exactly.
Christmas is in the backdrop.
And you hear Old Lang Syne and other Christmas songs. It's
right there with Invasion USA and Cobra.
Yeah.
we could have waited until December to talk this film.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I'm Santa Claus. I come in peace. That's it.
And it's a miracle that I think just one of the actors got knocked out by a kick and nobody died by explosion.
Now I like the dynamic between Dolph Lundgren and Brian Benben. Weird name, Benben. but I like how they come together, and at first it's like antagonistic. You're part of the FBI. You're by the book. You're so suit wearing and uptight, and you just want to try and change me. Like, no, I'm gonna be. And I like the different dynamics on how they do things, especially when they go to the strip club. I need.
Yeah, of course later when.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and of course later, when they get the alien weapon from the intergalactic cop.
Yes, because there's two aliens in this film.
Yeah, and when they get the weapon from the intergalactic cop, and of course the FBI guy wanna do the right thing.
And,
Never
and,
trust a
and,
man. Never.
and the conspiracy with that situation is interesting in itself, where they see value in the aliens as getting technology and weapons.
Of course, it's the state.
So they like, yeah, we know what he's doing, but now we want to get what they got.
Yeah. Yeah, Gary, absolutely. The thing is about this movie that an independent movie that has so many different factions in the story should not be so coherent and fun. It's like this could very much be a very convoluted movie, but somehow it's a very easy watch, despite like all like the intrigues and the different characters, and even like the building up the subplot of like the drug cartel, like in Rio, where basically also like has like this, wouldn't say cliffhanger ending, but basically this world building ending. This world feels very lived in. This very much feels like you're watching like the third season. You're like in the third season of a crime drama, and suddenly they're adding aliens into it.
It's like I need a continuation for him to take down the white boys' empire. He needs to get Victor Man in this shit. The alien came and disrupted all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just an entertaining film. I love the dynamics. I love the various characters. Both the bosses, I don't like them, but I think that they both present different dynamics of, you got Kane and his boss, and then Smith and his boss. So it's like, who one tries to kiss up to his boss, the other one's like, yeah, fuck you, whatever. His boss tried to put him on vacation, and he was like, the fuck, I don't want to go on vacation. I gotta solve this case. My partner just got killed.
Yeah. And going back like to the white boys gang, you know what Gary Oldman would have said.
True romance.
Drexel. Is it white boy day?
That would be interesting.
Oh, that, yeah. I mean, basically, you can really cast Dolph Lundgren and everything. I mean, he's fucking amazing. Also, like in Sharknado, like I think in the penultimate Sharknado, like when he's like the time traveler, like the sun, and he comes back from the future again. One day we have to talk all the Sharknado movies.
I know you've been saying it for the last couple of years for us to marathon the Sharknado film.
There is no better series with that many movies than Sharknado. And I mean this unironically. And of course, like even like in Aquaman, like he has like a kick-ass cameo. Like
I like his role in Aquaman.
They should totally bring him back as the Punisher. Like even though I'm very sick of all the multiverse thing, but yeah, you could do a Punisher multiverse. Sadly, Ray Stevens is no longer with us, but it would be really cool otherwise to see like all the Punishers like.
But yeah, that would be pretty cool. Like he giving more of that Max vibe of Punisher.
Yeah.
But yeah, the like I said, this movie was very creative with this plot, and like I said, even if you take the element of the alien out, this could have been a nice hard-boiled crime.
Yeah, absolutely, because the characters were there. You truly were already totally invested in Jack Kane. Also the other characters, like I said, the buddy was there. Then of course, like the murdered friend who was like his former partner. They were like everything was there to have like just a regular like normal crime drama.
And just saying, like, your partner was killed by white boys. just that saying alone for this group is like, man, they really was like, we can't use the Proud Boys, we're gonna call them white boys.
Yeah.
But and again, it's like it could have been its own thing. And I like how he was listening to the meeting, but then he gets distracted by somebody going in to rob the store. And he's like, fuck, man, this is an important meeting that I'm eavesdropping on, but I gotta stop these criminals from robbing the store. And he misses out on his partner getting killed.
Yeah, it's it just felt very, of course, like wouldn't say, of course, like this plot element is it was not reinventing the wheel, but it's just a very interesting. But it was very interestingly interpreted, like this trope. Generally, this movie feels so fresh,
especially after not watching it for so many years. Like,
yeah,
it really felt fresh again.
Like really like fresh air. Like it's just, this is such an easy watch. You know, I've recently, I mean, I was like recently watched a lot of hard sci-fi stuff, but like watching this like after a lot of old European hard sci-fi from the 60s and 70s is like, is that such a, it was a breeze.
And you know, we gotta talk about the sci-fi element, you know, with the two aliens, because you have Tyler played by Mathis Hughes, and then you got Azek played by Jay Bilas.
Mhm.
And you know, both of them had unique hairstyles, I'll say that.
Yeah.
But they both came dressed in black with science style guns that just blows everything away. And there's an element there, you know, like he's there to stop Tarlac from forming this drug and taking it back to his planet, because now if that happens, everybody's gonna come to Earth and try and lay siege to get this drug, because it's the most rare drug on their planet, and people want to be high. They want to get high off of it.
Yeah.
So again, it's like the plot is simple, but at the same time, there's a lot of complexity to it.
And it totally makes sense, and because once, you know, Pandora's box is opened, then you can't close it, and the fucking whole galaxy is coming here to get high on us.
And that's a story element that can be used in sci-fi, you know, because one thing I've been watching some sci-fi shows. I've been watching Space Above and Beyond and a couple of shows. Like the 90s has some great sci-fi stuff that sadly never got past one season because the network sucked. But there was elements to them that's like, man, the concepts are there, and sometimes it's explored in other shows, and then it's touched upon but never explored further.
Yeah, and I do believe
the concept of aliens coming to a planet to get up a drug that they need to form through the humans is something that can be explored a lot, and it definitely can make an alien invasion just for the drug alone.
Yeah, and this is also why I think that this movie has actually like a very deep layer in there, which makes it actually, in my opinion, like really a true science fiction film, especially since the technological aspect from transforming like human matter into drugs for aliens is a science fiction concept. It's not just like a space action or something. Is that actually this is an action / science fiction film.
And that's what makes this film just so well done. Like I said, there's many moving parts in it, but it all makes sense. There's nothing convoluted about it. The fact that this is an independent film and they make it move so well, this could have easily got botched. They could have made it too
Yes.
complicated, and it could have fell apart, especially in the hands of a major studio. Like they really would have just try and put their hands in and mess it all up. But these guys really had a lot of passion. They was like, yo, we're gonna make this work. We're gonna have fun. Dolph Lundgren just looked like he was having the time of his life, just playing the character and getting to do his roundhouse kicks to show his style of action. And I just love, he has some one-liners and stuff, but I loved at the end when he defeats Tylak, and Tylak's last words was the words that he said through the entire film. I come in peace. And Dolph says, and you go in peace. And it's like,
yeah.
Don't I miss those days of action films that it's cheesy and yet at the same time it's awesome.
And the wonderful thing about like the time was, nowadays very often when they put in like a one-liner, it feels forced. But it didn't feel forced back in the day.
No, it just felt natural.
Yeah.
And I think it's because of the appeal that a lot of the action stars had in the 80s and 90s.
And I also totally think that nowadays actors try too much to be ironical. While if you really want to make a one-liner work, you gotta be dead serious. Like you gotta mean it. You gotta mean it like it's the most serious thing you've ever said. And then it works.
I mean, there's a reason why Arnold was the king of the one-liners.
Yeah, because he delivers them so dry. Especially actually one of my favorite is actually with twins, where it's like they do nothing. The pavement was his enemy. Like to deliver it so dry, and within the world of the film, like that series, that's what makes it iconic and funny. But when you deliver it already almost like fourth wall breaking in the movie, then it's odd.
And then you got the science guy in this film. Another thing. Before we get to the science guy, that fucking disc that Tylak shot out of his arm.
Yeah.
The way they use it and the way it kills, it's like it makes you look at a CD differently when you.
Yeah, it looked like a interesting version of a CD player.
He just shoots it and it ricochets and it just cuts people's necks and cuts their arms and everything. And I was like, man, that you do not want to be in the room with that. And the fact that when they tried to take it out of the speaker, it still was active. So I'm like, that's a dangerous piece of technology for them to use in this film. And I like that the science weird guy who was popping pills and all that stuff and drinking coffee, and he had his own thing of how to house that CD. But again, it's like dealing with alien technology, and you don't see shit like that. People look at it, it's a regular CD, but that shit is a murder device.
It's probably was natural born killers.
Yeah. But yeah,
just imagine New Jack with such a thing.
Oh man. And here's another thing: who a police officer, detective, have a girlfriend, and she's a coroner. She inspects bodies.
Well, it's basically he's guaranteeing like her job.
Yeah, because when he was hurt,
a lot
he
of
went
fresh
to go see
bodies.
her.
Yeah, a lot of fresh bodies.
Fresh bodies and bodies that she needs to investigate.
Yeah.
And I like when Agent Smith gets the gun and the alien gun, and he think he's gonna go to work, but the recoil on that gun is ridiculous to the point where he can't even handle it half the time.
Yeah, that's also very, of course, so interesting.
And I love the gun effects in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it really, it makes it feel real. It feels solid. It doesn't feel fake. And especially when, of course, you don't have like the effects when you do aliens, that you basically create like this out of worldly beast, but basically your aliens are still human looking, just with white eyes, like I said, a weird hairstyle. uh, Basically the movie did a fantastic job in establishing the different power set. Like, it's like they look human, but they ain't that easy to kill. Like,
And somebody even, I saw a comment that said that he looked like he could have played with, especially with the tentacle, he could have played Omega Red.
yeah, yeah,
And then when I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, because he got the look, the tentacles. If they just add that in there, I'm like, yeah, he would have made a great
Yeah,
Omega Red. He just ain't not Russian. And
yeah. Basically, I mean, he still had a fantastic career. He's still in movies and stuff, but basically, he came 10 years too late and almost 10 years too early. Like on the scene, like because if he would be at that age right now, he would probably be in every like comic book adaptation as
And-
someone.
and he just looks the part to be a top tier villain, either number one villain or a top tier henchman. But I just thought that for this film, he was fantastic in it.
Yes.
And
Actually, this should have been a way more star-making performance than it was. Like I say, he still got a very good career that he can look back on, that is still ongoing, but it's like he should have. I almost like wish that he got even like a bigger status, because he's that good in this movie.
yeah, I agree. And again, just watching it, the movie flows so well. The action scenes are great. It has a couple of car chase scenes. I like when what's his name shoots the gun to blow up the car, and he think, yeah, I got his ass. And then Taylor came running out. And like they start running. I like he just no-sold your whole gun attack and start running after you.
Also, like the finale also well set up, when he wanted to like basically snipe him, with the alien gun, and then it's like tick, tick, tick.
Yeah, the gun keep jamming on him every time.
Yeah. And also like then when he like jumps up, and then you basically have the setup for the finale with Dolph, which is just a fantastic fight. And I also love like the whole setup, basically, of course, that like Dolph's character, like that Kane has to be on the defense, and like also
because he's using the tentacle. This is where the tentacle come into play at that point. Because most of the time when he uses the tentacle, it's just to inject the heroin into the human body, and that's it. But now we see the tentacle at its most strongest force, and Dolph is fighting it off, trying to.
And Dolph Lundgren did actually a really good job in basically selling that thing. Like selling like the power of like the tentacle, which sounds weirder than it is.
We're not talking hentai here.
Exactly. But it's a really very well crafted and set up action scene that made so much. Like, even I've watched it like 3 times. And
I really wanted to watch it again before the stream, but I unfortunately didn't have.
Yeah, because like just the finale, like I rewind and watch it again, because I couldn't believe again like how smooth it is. I was like then watching and looking. It's like, is there anything that is off? Now it's so well made. It's just like, this should not be as good as it is, and yet it is. Especially I know you love it, but if you compare this movie with Cyborg,
that's another film we gotta talk.
Yeah, actually,
because Ralph Miller's in that one, and it's one of those films that I used to watch a lot as a kid, and I didn't even know I remember watching some of the sequels, And I was like,
Yeah.
some of them are good, some of them are bad.
Yeah.
But Cyborg always like captured my attention because of Jean-Claude Van Damme and the action scenes in that film.
Yeah.
So
I do think that this movie's better. I think this
I
movie is
agree
because
with you on that.
yeah, because rest in peace, Albert Pune. Like fantastic guy, fantastic cineast. Like he laughed all the right movies. He was not a good director.
But I agree. This is better than Cyborg. As much as I enjoy Cyborg, this is much better. And I felt like what if Cyborg would have been better had Ralph Miller played the main baddie?
Yes,
because the guy who played the main guy was, I didn't know, something about him that just felt off.
Yeah. And it's so weird that this should have been the sequel to Masters of the Universe with Dolph Lundgren.
Exactly. It's like how it ties into Dolph Lundgren with Masters of the Universe.
I do have to say that the cyborg effects in Cyborg should not look as fantastic as they do.
But yeah, we definitely gotta talk that film in the future. Matter of fact,
maybe next week. I should have it laying around here somewhere.
If you have it, we could talk it next week.
Yeah, I just look. I have to. I know that I had the Blu-ray. I just gotta check if I still have it.
But yeah, this film though, it just watching it again after not seeing it for so, and this is why I really wanted to do this. The May talking Dolph Lundgren and Brandon Lee, because I'm like, those films like Rapid Fire and Showdown in Little Tokyo, this film, I was like, man, these films was like, I used to watch these a lot as a kid, and you know, it brought back joy just watching this film and seeing how much it still holds up, and like it just makes me want to watch Showdown in Little Tokyo right now. It makes me want to watch Rapid Fire.
I also want to watch it, but hopefully they're coming out with new releases soon. But yeah, like you said, it's just a fantastic experience rewatching these, and you know, rewatching it now, it's like, why haven't rewatched it earlier? It's
because
probably like,
it's because these movies don't cross our mind. But when I messaged you about, like, you know what, man, Dolph Lundgren, I thought about it. I'm like, I come in peace. I'm like, I haven't seen that movie in years. Rapid Fire, Showdown Little Tokyo. It crossed my mind, like, man, we should do a Brandon Lee Dolph Lundgren month. And when you hit me with that, none of them, that was like a big gut punch for me, because I was like, man, I was really looking forward to diving into some of these films.
But at least I managed to get I Come in Peace on DVD.
And if it comes to that, just to get the DVD of it, then I'm for it, man.
Yeah,
because it take you back, and it's like you remember the times when action movies were action movies, and not these powder puff action films that they come up with today, full of CGI and shit.
Yeah, and shaky cam, no fucking shaky cam.
Like you saw fights, and I'll live with Jean-Claude and his 5 versions of the same roundhouse kick getting shot in different points. I'll live with that.
In the future, we gotta talk Inferno with Van Damme. I think this is like the most funniest threesome scene.
But yeah, I'll live with that over what we getting today, because there's some good action films today, but they just don't measure up to what we had in the 80s and 90s.
Like I say, today they are too self-ironic in many cases. It's like today they have a lot of movies just have a problem being true to their own core. I don't know if it's because the makers behind it feel ashamed of the genre, so they want to say, hey, we're in it on the fun too, or if they just remember the old movies like in a wrong way.
And look at this. We had multiple tiers of action stars in that time period. You had your Stallones and Schwarzeneggers. You had your Van Dammes
I just since you said also like the action, so for the action stars of old, I just had to think about the last Saturday Night Main Event, Jesse Ventura. He walks out.
Hey, we'll talk
how,
about that.
how exciting is that, huh?
Hey, Jesse went on a lifetime rant right there, man. And then speaking of Jesse, you're like, yeah, him and Roddy Piper in that TV show together, like,
Well, that would have been fantastic. You know what we have to talk in the future, which is a very weird science fiction action movie with Sven Ole Thorsten and with Jesse Ventura.
oh man.
It's a strange one, but it's still, even there's Sven Ole Thorsten versus Jesse the Body Ventura in it. I even forgot the name of the movie, but I have that one on DVD.
But like I was saying, like, you had your Schwarzeneggers and your Stallones, you had your Chuck Norrises and Van Dammes, you know, and Dolph Lundgren, Steven Seagal. You gotta throw him in there because he was a big part of that. And then you had, you know, guys like Roddy Piper, Don the Dragon Wilson,
Yeah.
Billy Banks. Like, there was tiers to this.
Exactly, there were levels to it. I would now say it's like, oh boy, we didn't appreciate what we had back then. Now we totally appreciate it. It was the glory days. I actually, you know, I can't even blame all of like this Gen Z why they're pissed all the time. I would be pissed too if I would be born like in the last 10 years or something. Because we were there, like we witnessed the peak of humanity.
And this is not even counting the martial arts flicks that we watched.
Yeah.
So it's like we just had different levels of action stars in A movies, B movies, C movies, D movies, but we all remember them. The Billy Blankses, the Don the Dragon Wilson, all those guys. Roddy Piper films.
Exactly. It's like we had it all. And what did you have? The Miz and John Cena as the Marine.
12 rounds of boringness. Oh man. But yeah, this is what this movie elicits. It elicits that feeling that we had watching all these action stars do their thing and all be different and unique. So, and again, I want to say, I really wish we never lost Brandon Lee.
Yes, we were. He was, first of all, of course, he was robbed of a wonderful life, and we were robbed of being on this planet with such awesome guy as he was.
Yeah, and he really was going to be the next big action star.
Absolutely, and I mean, you know, everybody just go back and watch The Crow. Still, in my opinion, one of the top 3 comic book movies that were ever done. I have not seen the remake. I can't say anything about it. The only thing I can say is that the first adaptation is just perfect movie. It's perfect. Yeah, you got Brent Lee there, and you got Ernie Hudson, which immediately brings us up like to like 99%.
Michael Wilcox and his
because it's that's just magical. Just those were the days.
Yeah, and that's pretty much our talk on Archangel. I Come in Peace.
So next week then Cyborg.
Yes, Cyborg. Back to Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
So
and Ralph Möller.
Yes. And that classic scene with the split where he's standing all day, and I'm like, man. But yeah, man, a lot of fun. There might be I think there's a Comic Con crew tomorrow. It's been a long time. I don't know if I will be on that, but if I can make it, I'll try and jump in. And then, like I said, I might just do a video talking about.
Oh, you should.
Blaxploitation collection.
And then, of course, you can also link to. Since we talked about most of them.
Yeah, the only two we didn't talk
Across the
is
street, no.
Sheba Baby, and across
Across the
110th Street.
Yeah. Because otherwise, we had a very fantastic talk about some of these classics.
Yeah, you have to one day send me the Pam Grier and the Fred Williamson talks.
Yeah,
because those were some lively discussions.
I was like, I always think that we already did them on your channel, but I am so lost in time. Like, it's.
I will say this about Sheba Baby. A lot of people was like disappointed that this was included in the list, and it's a good movie, but the problem is it's PG. It's not rated R, and it felt like they were trying to like restrict Pam Grier from being that character that she was either in Coffee or Foxy Brown, and I could see why people were disappointed that it was included in this and not Foxy Brown. But I'm happy that it was included because it's Sheba Baby.
And also, this is volume 1. Yeah. And I am totally also like, they are thinking, of course, first of all, since it's from Shout Factory, they're thinking, of course, two sides. On the one, of course, from the perspective of the movie lover, and from the other, of course, from a commercial perspective. So when you have the rights to these movies, you don't want to put all the heavy hitters like already in the first volume, so that nobody then buys like the other ones. So you also want, of course, like first of all, even you have a shit ton of highlights, like on this volume 1 set. But you also want to highlight, some of the lesser watched films. So it's good to have like a good mix on that. Kofi is like, oh, I also wish, sometimes I wish we could go back in time and talk the first time again.
Cause we talked the Arena.
Yeah.
That was my first time watching that, and I was like, man, this is pretty good. But this film, like I said, Across 110th Street, we gotta talk this because this was really good.
Yeah, I gotta see if that one is available here. But yeah, as you know, like I'm totally up for it. I love blaxploitation films, and yeah, it's like, luckily, finally, I mean, it's so weird that most of these films already got releases all around the world. In the US, you had to wait a while to get like a worthy set of your own movies.
And Chuck Turner, we could talk about for days.
Oh yeah,
for days. And I think about when we talked about that, we did Three Tough Guys first, and the disappointment. Because you said you watched that after Chuck Turner. I watched Three Tough Guys before Chuck Turner. Because I was like, man, let me get Three Tough Guys out the way. And I was still disappointed because you had Fred the Hammer Williamson, you had Isaac Hayes, and I forgot the other guy because I know he was the Italian actor. The video quality was shit because that movie never got remastered. And then you kind of saw the ending coming because you kind of knew that the Hammer was the bad guy all along.
Yeah.
So it was just, it had its moments, it had some good moments, but it was just an overall disappointment. But then when we talked Chuck Turner, man, we was just glowing.
I gotta rewatch it. That movie is, like I said, when we said this movie is a breeze, Chuck Turner is basically it was made to be enjoyed.
Yeah, and it just had so many quotables.
Yeah.
Great show, man. Great discussion. And if y'all have not watched Dark Angel, I Come in Peace, check it out. It's free on YouTube. You should be able to watch it and enjoy it.
Exactly, Gary. Watch it.
So we'll be back next week to talk Cyborg. This your boy Sean. VV. We are signing out. Have a great weekend, y'all.